Hey guys, welcome back to the Bulwark. I am Sam Stein, managing editor at the site. I am joined by Joe Perticone, author of Press Pass, which you obviously should be subscribing to. Please do so if you are not. He's covering all things in the Hill for us. Before we get started, we want you to click that subscribe button. Just do it. It's great. YouTube page is a fantastic experience. Subscribe, share, yada, yada, yada. Joe, you are here to discuss an unseemly topic, but an important one, I suppose. Matt Gaetz, no longer a member of Congress, but word emerged this morning that the ethics report looking into allegations that he paid women, potentially underage women, for sex. We didn't know whether or not it was going to be released. It turns out apparently it is going to be released. What happened here? Like, why did we have a sudden turnaround?
So the House Ethics Committee, you saw lots of headlines about how they secretly voted. They do everything in secret. Everything is always behind closed doors. They decided this morning that they're going to release the report after the final votes of the year. So that's to their advantage because then they don't have to get asked about this report, at least until they come back in January. And they hope that, the news has passed by then. But basically, what we're seeing is that two Republicans, at least two, crossed the line to vote to release this report. It had previously
Do we know
been,
who?
We don't know. We don't. We might not ever, because the way they function is so they're just as secretive as the Intelligence Committee. They don't do these open hearings. Everything is done in secret. And unlike all the other committees, they have an even number of Democrats and Republicans on each side.
Gotcha. So all it would have taken is one Republican, right? Like if there had just been one Republican, it would have been fine. They would have released it. Okay. So we don't expect this report to come until like the very end of the year, probably buried, right? Like on a Friday or over Christmas break. What do we know the report will say, or what do we know that it looks into?
So a lot of it has already been made public through reporting, through witnesses coming forward on their own, through Matt Gaetz' own denials. And that's been stuff like, he paid various women, whether he was in a relationship or not with them, which, gives the implication of other things. His rampant drug use, which other members of Congress have said he bragged about openly on the floor.
Yeah.
His behavior is pretty well known. And the big one that has been the focus of this is that he had sex with a teenager. It's not clear.
He denies that, just to be clear, right?
And it's not really clear, like, if he broke the law, though, in that, because it depends on where it occurred.
No, yeah, let's be clear about that. He denies sleeping with someone who is underage, legally underage. It could potentially be a teenager, though, right?
Yeah. So part of the original investigations and stuff like that was that, well, did this occur in Florida where the age of consent is 18, where it is in most places? Or did it occur in Georgia where it's perhaps lower? And so it could have been legal, and this person, maybe it was not a crime that he committed. It's still kind of terrible that a sitting member of Congress would have sex with a teenager, an adult.
Yeah, not great.
So that's the center of it. A lot of his behavior towards Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House, McCarthy thinks that it was retaliatory for him not stopping this ethics investigation.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, what happened was Matt Gaetz orchestrated the defenestration of Kevin McCarthy, and they've held a grudge ever since. It's been kind of spectacular to watch it play out. Matt Gaetz put out a statement after reports emerged that this is all going down. I want to read from it because this is, frankly, it's not your normal statement from an ex-member of Congress. Part of it says, instead, the House Ethics will reportedly post a report online that I have no opportunity to debate or rebut as a former member of the body. In my single days, I often sent funds to women I dated, even some I never dated, but who asked?
Who among us?
Yeah. Yeah, what's so wrong? I dated several of these women for years. I never had sexual contact with someone under 18. Which means potentially he did for an 18-year-old. That's another thing to explore. Any claim that I have would be destroyed in court, which is why no such claims have ever made it in court. My 30s were an era of working very hard and playing hard too. It's embarrassing, though not criminal, that I probably partied, womanized, drank, and smoked more than I should have earlier in life. I live a different life now, but at least I didn't vote for CRs that fuck over the country. Good flourish at the end there. Yeah, I think just saying, I paid a lot of women, some of whom I didn't have sex with, but some who I did. I don't know. Look, he's not a member
and
of Congress, so
the thing
what are you
is
gonna
like
do?
he's not saying he like paid for their dinner or paid for their
No,
Ubers. ABC investigation found recently that these were Venmo payments that were thousands and thousands of dollars.
right.
So not
And
cheap.
done through his quasi-adopted son, right? Through that account. Like the whole thing is very weird. Like it's very evident to me that he lived a very rambunctious lifestyle for a while. I think he's been open about it. He's open about it in the statement. But like, I think a lot of weird shit went down, and I think it would have been really embarrassing if this came out and he was an elected official. I thought the whole idea, though, was that he retired precisely so this wouldn't get publicized.
Yeah, but there's precedent to release these things. They
Uh
really
huh.
don't have to, that's not a rule that they can't release a report if he's not in Congress. I think it's more the rule that they can't investigate someone who's not currently in Congress. So if their investigation is closed, which it apparently
Right.
was before he left Congress, they still have the ability to release this report, which is what they're about to do. Congress has a lot
Now,
of broad authority to kind of do whatever it wants because
right. Like
they make their
they
own
kind of make their
rules.
own rules, right? Like this was never like seemed set in stone. I will say if that statement from Gates seemed a little bit too sort of like what's the word, like placid. I don't know what the word is that for that statement. He did come out swinging a lot harder on Twitter later in the day. He suggested, here he goes. Later in the day, he puts out a tweet saying, someone suggested the following plan to me, colon, I show up on January 3rd, 2025 to Congress. I participate in the speaker election. He knows he was elected to the 119th Congress after all, then takes the oath, files a privilege motion to expose every, quote, Me Too settlement payment paid by using public funds, even for former members. Then he resigns and starts his next job as a OANN program host at 9 p.m. Eastern. That would be kind of awesome. I would welcome it. I encouraged him to do it. I think it would be interesting to see how far he gets and how much pushback, but also the names of the settlement payments.
I think this is him just bluffing or
Threatening.
throwing a tantrum on Twitter because it's first of all, it's not clear that he's allowed to do that. You can't withdraw a resignation, and he did say he would not be seated in the
Right.
new Congress. So that becomes a whole legal question of its own. In addition to that, if he made a motion like this, there's no indication that it would be accepted as privileged, which would he even have the authority to do it? That would be up to the parliamentarian to decide if he's allowed to do that even.
Yeah, but I just want
Could
him
even
to.
get
Don't
that
you
far.
kind of want him to go scorched earth a little bit?
Oh,
I kind of
I mean,
do.
it'd be great. I was just saying that, like, I don't think he has the ability to. And then, even if he does get this far, well, then I don't think they would even vote on it. They'd just vote to table it, which is a different kind of thing. Or they would vote to refer it to the ethics committee. That
Jesus, Joe, you're
yeah,
ruining all my dreams with some procedural nonsense. Just let it happen. Christ. My
yeah.
God, let Matt Gaetz scorch earth, please. No, it's a weird time. Meanwhile, you have all this drama happening in the House. It looks like, and I just kind of want to get your take on this. I know we talked about it on other channels, but like, what the hell is going on up there today? We have Elon Musk telling them to like vote down the continuing resolution and then threatening to primary people if they vote for it, and then saying that the government should be shut down until Trump takes office. I mean, this is like who's running the ship here?
So a lot of members of Congress don't act until Donald Trump tells them to, or they see a
Yeah.
tweet from him, and they even sometimes, many times, won't even listen to his aides. They want to see it directly from him. And if Elon is taking on that role, maybe because Trump doesn't want to have to deal with it, that's a little difficult. But also, that's not clear either. Because what if Trump changes his mind or gets sick of Elon acting like he's in charge?
I mean, do we presume that Elon is being deputized to do this by Trump, or is he just acting as a free agent?
He's behaving like he is. Trump doesn't like to be shown up. He doesn't like to be perceived as not in charge. And this could really mess things up. Also, Mike Johnson has an entire Republican conference to manage. If he can't do that because of some person on the outside, well, then he can go take his complaints to Trump too.
I know. What's crazy about this?
War.
I know. What's crazy about this is it's a 3-month CR. We're going to be back here in 3 months. This is our future. Oh my God. Okay.
Well, that was the Trump presidency the first time. There were multiple government shutdowns. They had these fights all the time. Not
before he took office, or 3 months in, or both potentially. And this is with Matt Gaetz out of office too.
They did the shutdown, longest shutdown in U.S. history, that bled into Democrats taking control of the House again.
Yeah, I remember
to fix it.
Jesus Christ. All right, well, buckle up. Joe, thanks a bunch, man. Appreciate it. Always good to have you on talking about your boy, Matt Gaetz. Thank you.
Yep.
Just kidding. All right, and again, subscribe to the YouTube feed. We really appreciate it, and we will see you later.